tuned in to the hottest sports analysis of the week with your hosts Ron Dolbeck and Chris Roberts. And now, here's the first round.
The most outstanding football player in college football. That's what we're talking about tonight on our short edition of the first round. It's Zach, it's Chris, it's me, and you're joining us here talking about who we think are our top contenders about halfway through the college football season for the Heisman Trophy, which, Chris, I think has become they say on their website that it's the most prestigious award in sports. I don't know if I give it to that because it goes to the best player on the best team. But then when you go through and you read what the qualifications are and what the real standard is, it's the most outstanding player in college football.
Right. They say it's the most outstanding player in college football, but to me, it's the most outstanding quarterback in college football.
On a winning team.
On a winning team.
Right. That's what I think it is. Having said all that, let's get into our list. I'm going to start it off at number 5. This guy is not having the kind of season that he had last year, but I still think he's one of the most outstanding players when you look at his entire body of work, and it's got to be number 9, running back out of Clemson, Travis Etienne. He's at number 5 for me. The guy can catch. He's a smart player. He rarely turns the ball over, and you can see he has a great coach. He's part of a great program that has a lot of great talent, but he's the all-time rusher in ACC history for a reason, and I think for a lot of other reasons. He's just a count-on guy. He's a deep threat. He can break it open at any point in the game. He's my number 5 right now on my Heisman list. Number 5, Travis Etienne, running back out of Clemson.
And, yeah, I can agree with you with that. What I love about Travis Etienne is the fact that he's able to catch the ball out of the backfield. And you can actually put him out and actually put him in the slot and have a mismatch with him on the linebacker, which I wish they would have done a little bit more when they played Notre Dame, is put him out there in the stretch and have him actually be on the linebacker. But, he is one of the best running backs coming out this year.
All right, is that who you've got, number 5? Or who's your number 5?
That's on number 5.
Number 5, we agree on that one. Okay, let's go to my number 4. We're doing our top 5 list of Heisman candidates at this point in the season. Right now, number 4, I've got quarterback out of BYU, off of a lot of people's radar, Zach Wilson. This guy right here is having one of the best seasons in college football, and I bet you can't name a running back, you can't name a tight end, you can't name an offensive lineman, you can't name the head coach, and you can't name a running back out of BYU, and this is what he's doing. 21 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. I love that. 2,511 yards. I'm loving that. 75% completion rate. He's 8-0 on the season with big wins against Navy, Houston, and absolutely going on the road last week in a big game, bombing Boise State 51-17. Zach Wilson is my number 4 right now on my Heisman list.
My number 4, I'll agree with you on that too. But my number 4, I'm going to go with Kyle Trask from Florida. What he's able to do this year at Florida. Just look at his game last week where he passed for over 400 yards in 3 quarters against a number 3 defense in the nation. So I'm going with Kyle Trask. I like the fact that he's able to have his Kyle to Kyle connection with Kyle Pitts.
Right.
That's my number 4.
All right, and my number 3, I'm going right with you. I've got him one slot up closer than you do. My number 3 contender right now for Heisman has to be that guy, Kyle Trask. Here's what you got to think about. They lost 3 of their most prolific wide receivers last year to the draft.
Right.
And he's still putting up these numbers that are insane. 22 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, over 1,800 yards, and 69% from the pocket. Also, he's a run threat. Now, I wouldn't call him a dual threat guy, but he's just shifty enough to get you 70 yards rushing, I think, on 20 carries. And you got to account for him. Right. When that pocket starts breaking down, he can move and scoot and help you not lose yards. I don't think of him as a dual threat guy, but he's shifty enough to take away those negative yards that come with sacks. He's super smart. I love his touchdown to interception ratio, 7-1. 2-1 is good in the NFL. Number 3 for me on the Heisman countdown, Kyle Trask from my University of Florida.
My number 3, I'm going to go with Mac Jones from Alabama. I love what he's able to do now. With his wide receivers. As Alabama, you think of him as a run-first team.
Right.
When you think of Alabama, you probably think of Najee Harris. But Mac Jones is able to to take over. He took over from Tua last year. I mean, even with Jaden Waddle going down, he's still able to make plays with his wide receivers. Mac Jones, number 3.
I can't argue with that one. He's not in my top 5, but if I had a top 6, he'd be right there. Number 2 on my list, your boy out of Clemson, Dabo's favorite recruit, Sunshine, future New England Patriot. Hey, I can hope. I was actually hoping we were going to lose to the Jets and then lose to them again later in the season. And then the Jets get the tiebreaker and we move up, but I take a big breath and digress. We're getting a little ahead of ourselves. I've got Trevor Lawrence at number 2 right now on my Heisman list. He's an NFL talent. You could say, well, he didn't play the last 2 weeks. But again, I'm looking at the most outstanding player. If all these guys are healthy and they're all playing at their peak performance, who is the most outstanding player? I think there's only one guy in the country that I would put above him because he can throw, he can run, he has a high NFL IQ, he doesn't make bad mistakes, he's super accurate, he's won in big games, he's lost big games with class. I think he's the second best talent in all of college football right now. Trevor Lawrence, quarterback out of Clemson.
Well, my number 2 is probably your number 1, and I'm going to go. That's Justin Fields. Justin Fields right now, I mean, you look at, the body of work that he has put up this year. I mean, right now he's thrown for like 908 yards. He has an 86 quarterback rating right now. But really, when I look at Justin Fields, even though, yes, he's a dual threat guy, there's just something about those intangibles that my number 1 has that he doesn't have, and I have Justin Fields at number 2.
So who do you got at your number 1?
You're number 2.
Trevor Lawrence. So what separates Trevor Lawrence and puts him that 1/2 of a nano inch above Justin Fields for you? Before I get to my number 1. Well,
with Trevor Lawrence, it's like he picks up the smallest nuances of the game. He's able to adjust his game to whatever is going on. Like, it's like he understands like the finest detail. Like when you're looking at that game, like say for instance the Notre Dame game last week.
Right.
There were some plays where had Trevor Lawrence been on the field, he would have seen the wide receiver going through that as he's making that cut in the post, where that would have been a touchdown. Whereas, as a freshman quarterback last year, he didn't see that. And so it's like he has like that ability to be the
backup last week.
The backup last week, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he did a good job, but he has those intangibles to be like the coach on the field. And to me, he plays like basically a mobile Tom Brady to me.
My number 1 is Justin Fields, and the reason I'm going to go with Justin Fields is one thing. I look at the talent that Trevor Lawrence has around him. His coach has been doing it longer than Ryan Day. He's got more talent around him, I think, than Ohio State. Ohio State loses a lot every single year. Now, Clemson does too, but offensively, I think he's got Travis Etienne there. And then if you were going to say, okay, so who's Ohio State's Etienne? I don't think they have somebody to match it. They have Olive on the outside, but he's only a sophomore, and he's a solid kid. They have Master Teague at running back, and they brought over Trey Sermon from Oklahoma, both quality guys. But I don't see a game breaker out there like Etienne. And I would say that Ohio State's offensive line, I'm not sure I want to put that up against Clemson. I think it's 1 and 1A. I just think that the talent around Trevor Lawrence is greater. Therefore, Justin is doing as good, if not better numbers than Trevor with a little less talent and a little less experienced coach. Dabo's been doing this for over 8 years at Clemson. Ryan Day was in his first season last season, did a great job. Over 50 touchdowns, rushing and passing, with less than 5 interceptions or turnovers for Justin Fields last year. Now, I know we have to take what he does this year, but when you extrapolate those numbers over with a lot of the same talent that he had last year, I think he is the most outstanding player. Again, dual threat guy, super accurate, high NFL and passing IQ. He's just a flat winner. The guy just goes out there and wins. He wills his team in situations to win, and most of the time what they do is they get up so early on teams and break their will, they don't have a chance to come back. So Justin Fields for me. Now, I found a very interesting picture on the internet, and I think Zach's going to put it up in a second because it's my prediction of what we're going to see, hopefully at the end of December when they actually hand out the Heisman Trophy. Is that picture up there, Zach?
Yeah.
Is it this one right here? That's Justin Fields actually holding the Heisman Trophy like he will be doing this year when they award it to him. Defeat that.
Well, yeah.
Either the top two are arguable.
Yeah, the top two are arguable, but I mean, then again, it goes back to Trevor Lawrence too, because he lost just about all of his wide receivers last year. Only person that came back really was Justin Ross. So I mean, he's playing with a bunch of freshman receivers. I mean, the fact that he's able to make these guys look that good as a quarterback, I mean, that tells you just how on pace he is with the playbook and with his kids.
Yeah, I don't have anything negative to say about Trevor Lawrence, and I'm hoping that the Patriots can tank hard enough to move up to get him. But having said that, it is literally a nano-inch separating these two guys, and then there's a deep drop-off. If we're talking about the invite list, and well, let's go. If you had a sixth player to put on there, would it be ETN? Because I'd put Mac Jones.
Yeah,
so our top
ETN,
six
definitely.
is the same guys. They're just in a little bit of a different order.
Right.
The guys I think they're going to get invited are Fields, Lawrence, Kyle Trask. I don't know, man. I think that they'll just for the story they'll put just Zach Wilson in there, the quarterback from BYU, on the invite to New York. We want to know what you guys think. Get us down in the comments or reach us here at the show. It is thefirstrroundrd@gmail.com. Tell us who you've got in your top 5, or be a part of the show and ask us questions or comment on our list. Look for other archive videos that we put out twice a week on YouTube and hit the subscribe button right now. Become a part of our almost 2,000 subscribers. We want to thank each and every one of them. When you hit the subscribe button, move a little farther over to the right, hit the notification. YouTube will tell you every single time that we put out a new video. Having said that, we'll be right back here next week talking about everything going on in the world of sports. Until then, take care, everybody.